Welcome to this GTM Plastics cable installation video. Start by marking out the hole centres for the inner fitting of the top fixing of the cable kit. And double check the measurements, make sure that you get this correct because you don't want to be drilling in the wrong place. That'll be upsetting. So start with a pilot drill, 3 to 4 millimeters will be fine in diameter. Same for the other side. Once we've done that, we need to change the drill bit for the finishing diameter drill bit, which is about 7 millimeters. So let's just finish opening up the holes as we're doing now. Now we need to insert the plastic plugs. Just gently hammer those in. And now we need to unscrew the inner fitting of the top fixing, and that's going to screw to the window recess top or ceiling if you're going into the ceiling. And we'll just tighten up the inner fittings to the window recess top, nice and firm. Same for the other side. There we go. And now we need to attach the cable kits to the window recess top and allow them to hang down. So we just need to undo the plastic ties, and I'll just loosely attach it for now, and then remove the second tie. Allow the cable to hang down and just finish off tightening the outer body onto the inner fitting. There we go. And do exactly the same for the other side. So just undo both of the plastic ties and tighten up the outer body onto the inner fitting again. So that's the top end done. Now we need to mark out the hole centres for the bottom end. Again, double check the measurements, triple check the measurements even. Start with the pilot drill again, 3 to 4 millimeters will be fine. Make sure you go a little bit deeper than the length of the plastic plugs, otherwise it'll stop and you'll have to remove it and drill a bit deeper. Now let's change it for the finishing diameter drill bit, which is 7 millimeters, and drill down to the full depth. And insert the plastic plugs again. I sometimes like to reverse the hammer just to finish off with the round end. Just helps it get it nice and flush. And once again we need to attach the inner fitting. They're identical to the inner fittings at the top. So just tighten those up firmly. And now this is where it gets interesting, because it's the larger fixing of the cable kit that has the spring and the adjustable sliding nipple, as you can see there. And that's how we create the tension when we tighten up the outer body of the bottom fixing onto the inner fitting. It compresses the spring against the brass nipple and causes the cable to become taut. So we need to loosen the 2 grub screws in the adjustable sliding nipple. There's one on each side. And that allows us to slide everything up out of the way whilst we cut the cable to length. So with everything slid upwards out of the way, just gently tighten one of the grub screws just to stop everything sliding back down. Now you don't need to use a tape measure, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. It's 15 millimeters from the bottom surface, but that just happens to be the same height as the top edge of the inner fitting. So you just need to rest these side cutters on the top edge of the inner fitting and cut it. It'll be around about a couple of millimeters short if you do it that way, which is fine. And then if you let the spring and brass nipple slide down to the bottom, and tighten up the brass nipple about 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters from the end of the cable, nice and tight, both grub screws. So you'll have a small gap from the bottom of the bottom edge of the brass nipple to the top edge of the inner fitting, which is perfect for maximum tightness. And then as you tighten up the outer body onto the inner fitting, you'll feel the cable become taut. We need to do exactly the same for the other side. So just remove the 2 ties. Once again, loosen both of the grub screws that are in the brass nipple and slide everything upwards out of the way. And just gently tighten one of the screws to stop everything sliding down. Press the cutters onto the top edge of the bottom fixing with the cable in the other hand, pulling it down firmly, and cut it to length. Then just loosen the screw that you've just tightened up to allow everything to slide downwards. Tighten both screws nice and firmly. And tighten the outer body onto the inner fitting. So that's the cables finished. We now need to attach the pockets between the cables. As you can see, I'm flexing the pocket apart there just to demonstrate how easy it is to insert the poster, which we'll be doing in just a moment. First of all, we need to remove the 4 clamps from the packaging. Loosen these screws in the jaws of the clamps to allow the clamps to slide onto the flange. And then you can just tighten them up 10 to 15 millimeters from the edge. It looks better if you keep the distance consistent for each clamp, obviously. It looks more uniform, more symmetrical. So that's that done. Now we need to remove the screw from the slot of the clamp, which will allow the pocket to slide into the cables, and then reinsert each screw and just tighten gently. I now like to just loosen each screw about 1/4 of a turn, which allows you to slide the pocket up and down nice and securely to the height that you want it. A quick tape measure check. Now we need to do exactly the same thing for the second pocket, so we'll remove each of the 4 screws. And then position the pocket between the cables as we did before, so the cables can slide into the slots of the clamps. And then reinsert all 4 screws and tighten them gently. And I've decided to raise the top pocket a little bit because I thought the bottom one was too low, which means I'm going to need to raise the bottom pocket as well. There we go. And just tighten those up gently. And now a quick tape measure check just to make sure that they're square. And now to insert the poster, we just flex away the front panel. And we can put a second poster in back to back with the first poster. And the same again for the top pocket. And that is job done. So congratulations for assembling your first cable window display. There's a view from outside. There's a view from outside. And there's a view from inside that we've just seen. And there's one with different posters in. Thanks for watching.